everyone to tonight's meeting, and we have a little change of the agenda before we approve it. We're gonna remove Alan Paul from Board of Adjustment. He was originally gonna be on planning and zoning, and then we changed him to Board of Adjustment. He wants to just make sure that's okay with him, so we'll get him the next time. That wasn't critical, but an emergency addition, Brad. The Airport Commission meets on Wednesday and they need a member appointed, so we're going to appoint Doug to the Airport Commission. Doug has agreed to do that. He'll be replacing Jeff Sisson, who's been on for many years and is stepping down, so. That's the only additions I have or changes I have to the agenda.
I would move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Star,
Aye.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman,
Aye.
Knighton,
Aye.
The next point is the consideration of the minutes of the June 28th, July 5th, and July 12th meetings. Any questions or comments on those minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Anybody else with any comments? Clerk will call the roll.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman,
Aye.
Knighton,
Aye.
Star,
Aye.
Next up is the consent calendar. Does anybody have any questions on the consent calendar?
Move to approve. Second.
Any further comments? Clerk will call the roll.
Friesman,
Aye.
Knighton,
Aye.
Star,
Aye.
Lumley,
Aye.
Right, of the mayor, we have these several appointments, so I just take each commission separately, but first of all, Rick Noah and Jeff Titus's terms expired. And they are have both agreed to come on for another term, so I'd like to reappoint Rick Noah and Jeff Titus, the planning and zoning.
Would so move. Second.
Call the roll.
Knighton,
Aye.
Star,
Aye.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman,
Aye.
For the Historic Preservation Commission, Mark Wicks thought we'd already appointed McKenna, but Trudy and I couldn't find it, so we're appointing. We have done it before. And also Larry McHale to the Historic Preservation, replacing Mary Ann Townsend and Michael Berrigan, who have down after doing that for some time, so yeah, I think McKenna is the industry, because she's at the museum.
Yeah, museum
And then
director.
Larry McHale has also.
I'd move to approve McKenna and Mr. McHale.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Star,
Aye.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman,
Aye.
Knighton,
Aye.
I'd like to thank Mary Ann and Michael for their time on that committee as well. They've both been on there for a while.
Yes, they have, yep. And then we are, the new addition to the agenda is appointing Doug Cam to replace Jeff Sisson. Jeff has been on the Airport Commission for a long time, Airport Authority, I guess it is now, not the Airport Commission, for quite a time. Doug has been on before. He said he thinks maybe this is his third time, because he always had to keep dropping off, because one time he lived out of town, so he was the out of town representative, then he moved in town, or he was in town representative, then he moved out of town, so he had to quit, and then he was the out of town representative, then he became a supervisor, so he had to quit. So now he's gonna be the in-town representative, so.
I would move to approve.
Second.
We'll call the roll.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Knighton,
Aye.
Star,
Aye.
I'd like to thank Jeff for all his time on there, because he's been on there a long, long.
Yeah, it's
time.
been-
Done a very
he's done
nice
a lot of
job.
things. The
Yeah.
airport has done a lot of things during his tenure.
Yeah.
Yes. Not saying he did it, but like I say, the airport has accomplished a lot since while he was on, so. All right, next up then we will have a public hearing on the permanent easement, and we'll open that hearing. And we have an affidavit of publication.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do we have any written comments, if anyone?
I did not receive any. Did any of you guys receive anything?
No.
How about any oral comments tonight?
Move to close.
Second.
We'll call the roll.
Friesman.
Aye.
Knighton.
Aye.
Star,
Aye.
Lumley,
Aye.
Hearing is closed, so now we would consider resolution 8223 approving the easement on real estate owned by the city of Charles City to Lori Lynn LLC. Brian, are you taking this one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this provides a 1 foot easement to the property at 223 Main Street for construction of a ADA ramp for the side entrance for future business. It's got stipulations in there to remain, that there needs to remain 4 feet for the city to have ADA compliance as well in the agreement, so. And the cost of the easement to the owner is $350 to be paid to the city of Charles City. With that, look to approve resolution 8223. Approving permanent easement of city property to owner property at 223 Main Street.
Questions for Brian?
In your discussions with the business owner, was there any indication where this individual or individuals are with their business?
I have not heard anything as of late with us too far as how he is progressing.
You know, when he plans to do this ramp construction?
Hmm?
When does he plan to do the ramp construction? Do you have any idea?
It sounded like he was coordinating it with Mid-America as far as moving the gas main. Or the gas service to its building. Cause that's in where part of the ramp would be.
I would so move.
Second.
Any other comments or questions? Clerk will call the roll.
Knighton,
Aye.
Star,
Aye.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman.
All right. Next, then we have a consideration of a street closure for National Night Out, August 1st. Trudy or Chief Trudy, he's pointing to you.
Is he pointing to me here? I thought he was gonna do that, you dog. This is the same as it's always been. They are closing, I believe. Find
It's
it.
like North Jackson from Kelly to Blunt,
Thank you, Delane.
Kelly and Blunt Street from North Main to Jackson.
Yep, there we go. Thank you.
Similar to Party in the Park.
And I think they've always had a pretty good turnout for this, haven't they, Hugh? It's been very, very well attended, so. And the date is August 1st.
This first.
That all being said, I would move to approve. And it
Second.
is a nice event.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Did you
Sorry.
second that, Philip?
He did.
No, no
I
problem.
cut him off, sorry.
Okay.
Any other comments? Clerk will call the roll.
Star,
Aye.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Knighton.
Aye.
All right, so now we'll have a consideration of resolution 8323. Which fiscal year 23 transfers. Trudy, I think you're probably taking this.
I am taking this one here. You can see it's quite a lengthy list. Some of these are done throughout the year, actually, like the transfers for the CVTC. Our portion of it that gets transferred out of road use tax into CVTC every quarter. Some of the ones for foster grandparents and housing are also done through the year, but the big majority of these are not done until the end of the year. Some of them are moving, when we take in the transit levy and the emergency levy, those need to get moved, that type of thing. Street work, any of the street work, we do transfers into the capital improvement street project fund to zero that out. There's transfers into debt service for debt payments from the various funds, sewer, water, the TIF funds, that type of a thing. So this is it's all pretty standard. There is going to be 2 more coming, I think, ones that I missed. So those will be coming at the next meeting. And I think foster grandparents, Ginny was still working with Jen on that today. So there may be another one coming from there, but otherwise this is pretty much all of them in this resolution. We're also required at the very bottom there. This is something I think that's fairly new. The auditors are requiring, we need to show that there is a surplus available in water and sewer in order for us to do a transfer out of there for a certain percentage of the sales to go into general fund. So other than that, this is all, it's all pretty straightforward.
Questions for Trudy?
Do you have a grand total on everything that's there? Trudy?
You know what? I did in the spreadsheet, but I did not
Yeah,
transfer
I
that,
mean,
Delane. Yeah,
Looks like it must be pushing,
it's probably close to 3
I
million.
was gonna
isn't
say
it?
about 2.5 to 3 million
Yeah,
altogether.
I would guess, if I had to guess, it's gonna be, yeah, pushing 3 million. Yep.
Any other questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
Comments?
Gotta do it.
Hmm?
I say we gotta
Yeah.
do it. I don't know. We
Yeah.
got a lot of choice.
Yeah. Clerk will call the roll.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Knighton,
Aye.
Star.
All right, next up then is the first reading of ordinance 1165, establishing chapter 79 of the Charles City Code of Ordinances for rules and regulations for the operation of golf carts within the city of Charles City. Looks like he's not gonna push this one off on you, Trudy.
Thank
I was gonna
goodness.
point at her and see if she wanted to handle this one,
Heck no.
so. What I did is I tried to establish everything in there and include everything in there that you guys spoke about that night. Modeled it after the Clear Lake one. If you probably were reading it online before tonight, you saw that it actually had Clear Lake still in there under one of the headings there, so that got changed in this final draft. Any questions, I guess, on any of the topics touched on, or?
I think you've done a great job putting together what the council asked you to do,
Thank you.
and I think it's a good start, and we'll see how it works. I would ask that somewhere in the next year or so, you kind of tell us we getting a lot of tickets or violations, this along with the UTVs, if we need to adjust them.
Okay,
But I think it's very workable for people, and I hope people are careful.
I'll keep you updated.
Thank you.
So the requirements such as the slow moving vehicle and the flag, they don't have to register their golf cart, do they?
No, they do not. Those requirements though come from the actually state code and they just transfer over to our code.
So once this passes and we see somebody without that, will you just give them a warning and say you need to get this stuff, or how does that work if people?
Yeah, normally the first time we're just gonna give a warning on something like that, so.
I can see a lot of people saying, oh, I could drive my golf cart, but not reading the rules.
We've had quite a bit of interest in it, so people thought it already passed. We've stopped a couple that are driving, plus we've had a lot of calls and people are wondering if they should purchase them, and I told them that's completely up to what the council votes, so I guess I would wait unless you think you have a good deal and you want to use it on the golf carts for that, so. But there has been quite a bit of interest in
I
it.
think a lot of people realize though, if they put the trail pass on, they can't technically use them on the golf carts.
I think after that last meeting, I had 2 calls and that was actually brought up by 2 of the callers. So. I don't think that's gonna be an issue with this ordinance, because I don't think people wanna probably bother with that. So to get them inspected, so. And the DNR officer that was inspecting them was nicely holding off until this passes through, so.
I echo Keith's comments. Same path we did for the UTV is to come back 6 months from now. Or before the weather turns nice next summer. And revisit this and see how we're coming along with it.
As I said before, the UTV actual ordinance, we've had no instances with UTVs, but I did not tell you last time, we have had some with ATVs. So they are not allowed on the street. Officers have stopped people with ATVs. probably people, even if it was in the ordinance that they could, probably were not following the rules anyway, but otherwise the UTVs, we've had no instances that I know of with them at all. So it's been very good.
How about mini bikes? I've seen a few of them lately running around.
Mini bikes and ATVs have been on the Charlie Western Trail. They've also been on north side of town. We've actually had some cross the bridge and go over to the south side of town. So we have had mini bikes and we have had ATVs.
I would so move for this ordinance.
Second,
Have any other comments or questions? Clerk will call the roll.
Friesman,
I,
Knighton,
Aye.
Star,
Aye.
Lumley,
So we'll then have the first reading of ordinance 1165.
Sorry, I wasn't prepared for that.
you got
Sorry
it.
about that. Can you hit that? Can you just read it?
Never mind, I got it.
Thank you. An ordinance establishing chapter 79 of the Charles City Code of Ordinances, which provides rules and regulations for the operation of golf carts within the city of Charles City, Iowa.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Next, then we have resolution 8423, the pay estimate number 5 for the Clearwell project. Brian?
Yeah. This pay estimate is primarily for the base slab that we were talking about at the last meeting as far as getting poured. And that much concrete costs a fair amount of money. So this is, this resolution is for pay estimate number 5 for the amount of $775,162. And with that, I look to approve resolution 8423, approving pay request number 5 for the Clearwell project.
are they still pretty much on track with that project?
They are on notice for staying on track.
Okay.
The wall pours aren't going quite as fast.
That's what I've kind of been up by there every once in a while just to check on it. It just seems like, yeah, once they got that base in, it's like it slowed down considerably.
That's what I have noticed as well. And SEH has noticed as well, so. They're,
Keep after them.
yeah, they're keeping after him too, so.
Move to approve.
Second,
Any other comments? Call the roll.
Knighton,
Aye.
Star,
aye.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
All right, has anybody received any miscellaneous correspondence?
I did not, nope.
Brad, anything for you to report tonight? No, Your Honor. Trudy, you're up next.
Our next meeting is going to be July 26th. That will be a planning session. And I think there's a slight change to that. I'll let Steve, he'll allude to that in his report, but other than that, it's just going to be a planning session. What's going on?
Well, I guess Steve, that nice segue into your report.
Thank you. So yeah, so we've talked about doing the reviews for Trudy, Brad and myself on that Wednesday, the 26th. Surveys are out. I know at least a few of them have come back in. So if you haven't completed your survey yet, review, please do that at your convenience. But we talked about maybe moving that from July 26th to the council meeting on August 7th, that first meeting in August. One reason being that we're already getting some pretty lengthy things are going to be on the agenda for the 26th workshop. But secondly, and perhaps more importantly, Trudy is going to be likely out of town due to the death of her friend, I guess I should say. So she's not going to be here and we have a long meeting. So it seems to make sense to try and push that to August 7th. And so if that's okay with all you folks, we'll plan on that then.
Do you remember, Steve, what the deadline we did have for getting those evaluations?
I think it was this Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
20th.
Which then brings me to the CIP forms. I think we might have a similar deadline on those as well. If not, I've gotten most of them in, so if you haven't gotten me your CIP rankings, please get those to me at your earliest convenience, because now the fun part begins as we try and put together priority and try and figure out how to submit these things, so. So please get those to me. Had a good conference this last week in Storm Lake. One of the sessions towards the end was an update from Ted Nellison, the Director of the Department of Management, just walking us through the legislative changes, which were abundant this year. And probably not done. You know, there's a lot of talk that there might be additional things next year, but a lot of it, I think, is changes they're making to see kind of a wait and see how things impact from this year. And so I don't know. Who knows how this goes forward, but we talked through those pieces and we'll get more into detail on that as they kind of finalize everything, as they're still trying to figure it out themselves. But one of the things is we won't have the max levy hearing anymore. We'll have something very close to that, because we'll be under a timeline to get our information back to the county. So the county, because the county has to mail every taxpayer in the county now, what our, final numbers are going to be for all the tax entities. And so we walked through that and your growth limitations, all that. So it's fairly expansive. And I guess we'll just have to, there's so many moving parts. It's just hard to know where we're going to be at with all the homestead exemptions and business property tax exemptions and limitations on growth. It's hard to really know. So, but it was a good update, and Ted always does a good job. Thriving Communities Grant. So that is due tonight at 11:59 p.m. Tim Fox and Emily Garden and myself have been working on that quite a bit here the last couple of weeks, especially Emily. She's put a lot of time and effort into this. We spent the better part of this afternoon reviewing the grant, making changes and finalizing things. And so we're going to be reconvening to get that ironed out and application sent in tonight. But we're seeking $1 million in workforce tax credits towards hopefully landing a developer to come in and help put up those apartment complex. So we'll be submitting that tonight. And my last thing I'll have is I'll pass it to Brian. Brian's going to update for us as well.
Oh, yeah, on July 7th, I went and took the Principles of Engineering exam in Iowa City, and I got my results back last week, and I passed it and don't have to take the 8-hour exam again. And that's the last step besides the time requirement for my licensure.
Congratulations.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Only an 8-hour test? Accounting is like 3 days or something like that.
Oh, this is the second one.
It's not like the CPA exam, right, Delane?
Exactly.
That's all
Anything?
for us.
all right. Anybody else have any board or commission or committee reports tonight? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Good night.
John.
Hey, John.
Bye, John.
Safe
Bye.
travel.
Thanks.
So this